So today we're going to be going over 10 cheap scents that even fragrance snobs can't hate on. You know, fragrance snobs, niche snobs, people who have a passion for the finer types of fragrances. Usually $100 and more, a lot of times even be of that. You know, fragrance snobs, niche snobs, just people in the community who have more of an interest and a passion in the more expensive, higher quality style of scents. A lot of times, again, going to be niche fragrances here. If you were to give your average designer fragrance to a niche snob and have them smell it, they're probably going to laugh in your face because it just isn't good enough for them. However, what if I told you that there are some designer fragrances, not just regular designer fragrances, also cheap designer fragrances that, in my opinion, even a fragrance snob can't hate on. Sure, he could sit there and say that it still sucks, but the reality is when you take a step back and look at these and smell them, they are really, really good. Again, especially given the price. And we'll also go ahead and establish this really quickly here in the beginning. By cheap, I'm really kind of going around $40 to $45 and below. Everyone has their own definition of cheap or affordable, that sort of thing. That's kind of the limit I set for this video. For some, $40 to $45 may be not considered cheap anymore, but it was pretty tough to narrow this one down and find some really good high quality fragrances that are, you know, all super dirt cheap. So I did my best here. If you want to pick any of these up and add them to your collection, I will leave links down below in the description so you can purchase these off of discounters. That's going to be the only place where these are going to be cheap. If you go into your local Sephora or Macy's or whatever, they're not going to be cheap. They're all going to be around $80 retail. So you have to shop discounters to get these at the cheap price. Let's dive into it. First up, Lalique Encre Noire. Now, this usually comes in, I believe, around $20 to $25. A lot of times it's on like clearance on Fragrance Net, so usually right around in that price point, which is very, very affordable. And the quality of this and just the overall smell is top notch. Vetiver, cypress, and cashmere are some of the main notes. That's what this one is all about, primarily the vetiver and just some of the cashmere woods. Basically, it is a woody scent, and it's very masculine. The vetiver in here gives it a little bit of a smoky touch, so it's not like they're using a super light, super diluted, watered-down vetiver just so they can say it's a vetiver fragrance. This is on the more hardcore side of vetiver scents for a designer within this price point. Obviously, going over to niche and some more high-end stuff, it's not really going to be similar there in terms of the vetiver compounds that they're using, and it can get much more earthy and strong. But given that this is a $20 to $25 scent, it is strikingly good. Next up, everyone's favorite fragrance, everyone's favorite cheapie, Bentley For Men Intense. Incense, rum, and leather are some of the main notes. So it's very smoky from the incense, and it kind of gets compared to a churchy smell, which I can kind of see a little bit, but not too awfully much, at least for me. You get a nice boozy, heavy rum note in here. You get a nice strong masculine leather as well. This stuff is masculine, assertive, upscale, classy, high-end, all the way through. And the quality, top notch. When you smell this, you would not think that it comes in at the price point that it does, around, I think, mid $30 range, sometimes maybe pushing 40 depending on kind of supply and demand as per usual, but somewhere around in that price. I mean, it is absurd. I would pay every bit of $60 for this one if I had to. I really would. I mean, it is that good. Everything about it, from performance to quality to the actual smell itself, it is unique. It is a bit, I don't know, kind of inviting in a way, even though it is very strong. Not necessarily something I would want to wear on a date, but it does give off the feel of this kind of, you know, come closer type of smell, right? It has that type of vibe about it where it wants to draw people in. For fall and winter time, look no further if you want something that's not going to break the bank, and you don't want something that all the niche snobs are going to hate on you for and throw pebbles at you. Next up, we have Davidoff Zino. Rosewood, patchouli, and lavender are some of the main notes. Primarily for me, the patchouli is really the star of the show. It's a 80s fragrance, and it definitely smells like it. It's an aromatic fougere. It's a barbershop scent with heavy, strong, earthy patchouli, spicy patchouli. It smells great, at least for me. I really enjoy it because I like scents like this. It's not going to be something for everyone, especially for guys who are younger and just aren't really into it like this, you know, really into the collecting, and you're more just wanting something for mass appeal and that sort of thing, it's not going to be for you. But for people who do have a liking for this style of scent, you're really going to like it, especially given the price. I believe sometimes I've seen this one for under $20. Under $20, that is incredible. A lot of times the more fragrant snobs, the connoisseurs, like I just did a video on, the niche centric people, usually will kind of be into aromatic fougères as well, right? It's an older style, it's a classic style of scent, and I mean, come on. If you sit here and say that this fragrance sucks, you're straight up lying. Obviously, the quality is not as good as something like Fougère Royale or something like that, but I mean, come on, man. This, for the price, is one of the best in this category. Next up, Halloween Man X. Coffee, whiskey, and tonka bean are some of the main notes. So again, typically the people who enjoy the higher end, finer fragrances are usually going to be after the fall and winter time scents. Obviously, there are some incredible citrus fragrances out there which are very high quality and very high end, and people will be into those. But normally you're going to be getting into like the ouds, the heavy leathers, the heavy boozy fragrances, some just really heavy stuff that's usually going to be better for cooler weather. It's kind of what they're going to be into. And if you want a fragrance that is good for the cool weather and has some booziness and has a bit of a nice coffee note and a nice powdery tonka bean, and you don't want to spend $500 on a bottle, Halloween Man X is awesome stuff. It's hard to deny that this, for the price, is a great scent. And again, I keep saying for the price because really it's not all that common to find fragrances that are $20, $30, $35 that are as good as these are. So that's why I keep reiterating that. If you were to put the same thing in a $70, $80 bottle when it's at discounters, it may not be the best at that point. Then it would be kind of overpriced for what it is. But as it sits right now, this and everything else in the video, it strikes the perfect balance between price, quality, all of that stuff. Halloween Man X, great scent, great performer, really good compliment getter as well. And again, it's hard to hate on this one. Let's go to a freshie, okay? This is going to be a fragrance that I don't think any single person can say that it smells bad or terrible or unpleasant. I really truly think that. You go ask anyone, male or female, what they think about this. I don't think you would ever find anyone that says that they think it smells bad. You may have people who don't necessarily like it, but it's not because it smells bad, it's just because it's not their style. And that's similar with a lot of other fragrances as well. But on the other hand, there are some fragrances out there that someone may smell and they hate how it smells, and therefore they hate the scent because it's something weird or strange. This is not one of those. From Versace, this one is Versace Pour Homme or Versace Signature. Bergamot, neroli, musk are going to be some of the main notes, along with lemon as well. Citrus heavy up top, nice and musky in the base, bit floral. It is a creamy, bright, sparkling, effervescent summer fragrance, but could be used all year round as a signature. Anyone who has smelled this will know what I'm talking about here when I say that I think it is just impossible to think that this smells bad or terrible. I understand not liking it because it may be boring, totally get it, and a lot of niche snobs will think that this is boring. And again, I understand. I'm not saying that this one excites me and gets me going crazy because it's Versace Pour Homme and it's the best thing ever. It's not super unique in that regard, but it is pleasant, and it's hard to deny that. Moving along, we have a fragrance from Azzaro. And this one is Azzaro Pour Homme Intense. Cinnamon, brandy, and amber are some of the main notes. Great, great stuff. I love everything about this scent. I still remember discovering this one kind of on accident. I was actually looking for Azzaro Pour Homme Intense, but it was the older version, which was legitimately going to be a more intense version of Azzaro Pour Homme without adding some notes like this one. That's what I was looking for, and that's what I thought I purchased. And when I got it in, I smelled it, I'm like, this is quite a bit different than Azzaro Pour Homme, but I really, really like it. The more I wore it, the more it grew on me, and well, I'm glad I made that mistake. Cinnamon is spicy up top. You get a nice boozy, sweet brandy. Get a nice tonka bean in here. This stuff is incredible. Again, for the cooler weather, this stuff is a serious gem, and it doesn't come in at too high of a price either. I want to say, depending on the stock, and again, this varies all the time, but I've seen it around 35. I've seen it up to 40, 45. It really just depends. But still, at that price point or those price points, it is worth every penny, and it is hard to deny that this stuff smells awesome. Next up, we have a scent that I just did a first impressions video on, Vince Camuto Terra Extreme. So this one has vanilla and rum as a few of the key ingredients, also like a benzoin and some stuff like that. A little bit of citrus up top, which doesn't really come through all that much for me. Primarily, it's a nice dusty vanilla benzoin in the dry down with a boozy touch. Get a little bit of a freshness up top, but again, it's not the main focus there. This smells great. At the time of me recording this, Fragrance Net has it for $19 for a 3.4 ounce tester and $40 for a full presentation. I got the full presentation at the time. They didn't have the tester available. So really you're saving 20 bucks just to not potentially have a cap. I really don't know how Vince Camuto does their testers, but you know, you could save 20 bucks, potentially not have a cap, and just have a plain box. Totally up to you. I prefer the caps. That's what I would have gone for in the beginning anyway. But for someone who wants to save even more money, $40 is a really good price for this one, and $20 is an absolute steal. If you want to see more in-depth breakdown on this one, you can check out my first impressions, and here in a few months, once we get into fall, cooler weather, I'm going to do a full review on this one, but just to kind of give you a little surmised description there, it's basically what it is. Rum, vanilla, it's affordable, it's got really good quality, the presentation is great, I love everything about it, and it's hard to deny that this brings a lot to the table given the price. Running down to the end, we have Lacoste L'Homme. Orange, rhubarb, and ginger are some of the main notes. So this is another one where, you know, for some, I guess it may be a bit boring, given, you know, people who are really into the more complex stuff that is not just primarily fresh. But this one has a creaminess from the orange, mixes with the rhubarb up top. This is uplifting and inviting and a gorgeous scent. It's kind of sparkling, it's creamy, it smells great in the warmer weather. It's good for spring, good for early summer. When it's really hot, and towards the end of summer, you can wear it as well. But I like it when the temperature is more mild. Even kind of starting out fall, if you want a freshie to wear to kind of transition into fall, so you're not going from, you know, Nautica Voyage over to Spice Bomb Extreme, right, a very big jump, you can kind of start easing into some things that are just a little bit more sweet and have a little bit more depth with something like Lacoste L'Homme. And you can even go for the Intense, which kind of beefs it up a little bit more. When everything is all normal and the prices are healthy on discounters, $35 is usually what you're looking at for this one. Great price. It's got great quality. It's a good performer, great compliment getter. It's a nice solid scent all around that is pretty good for the price. Let's go ahead and knock these next two out here. Second to last fragrance, we have Dunhill Icon. Neroli, bergamot, and black pepper are some of the main notes. Again, I apologize. I still can't find my bottle yet. It must be buried somewhere, but just bear with me here. And actually, the next one I can't seem to find either. But Dunhill Icon. This has a fizzy, floral, spicy up top, grape soda type of smell. It's quite interesting. I wish I knew where it was so I could spray it up in the air and experience it, because it really is truly kind of addicting. And every time I smell it, I'm like, oh, I need to wear that more. Then it gets kind of lost in my collection. Literally right now it is lost, but before it would just kind of get hidden behind some things on my shelf. I would forget about it. It's not that the scent itself is forgettable, because it's really not. I can remember how it smells, and it has that unique grape soda fizzy smell to set it apart, but I just have so many other things. I like things that are more, you know, structured per season, and Dunhill Icon is kind of a all year round signatures type of scent, and typically those do end up getting lost in my collection, just because when summer comes around, I'm wearing the hardcore summer scents. When winter comes around, I'm wearing the hardcore tobacco, rum, boozy, leather fragrances. Usually I'm not doing in-between type of stuff, so it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But if you have a smaller collection and it's a bit easier to manage, and you want a signature scent fragrance, a signature scent in general, one that you can wear all year round, Dunhill Icon is great stuff. Comes in at around, I think, $40 on discounters, and it is hard to deny that this is just a really neat scent. Last up, we have a fragrance from Ferragamo, Acqua Essenziale Colognes. Bergamot, lavender, clary sage, and watery notes are going to be a few of the main notes here. It kind of has an aromatic fougere vibe as well, but stripped back a bit. It is kind of watered. I was going to say watered down, but I don't want to misconstrue that. It's not watered down in terms of being weak or reformulated. It's watered down in terms of they literally took kind of the aromatic fougere DNA, put in a watery note. It gives it a bit more of a bubbly feel, gives it a bit more of a fresh feel, makes it a bit more obtainable. More people are going to like this compared to something like Tom Ford Beau de Jour, which is going to be more focused on aromatic fougere qualities. I believe $30 or so is where this one comes in, or I think I may be seeing it around 20. I can't remember now, 25, 30, something like that. It's usually where this one's going to fall. That's a great price. I mean, this is a really nice clean scent that you can wear for anything. Kind of a similar thing where I love this stuff. It smells fantastic, especially given the price. It's got good performance, but it does tend to kind of get put aside because it's kind of a signature scent all year round thing, and well, I'm wearing things that aren't really that style. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. That is 10 fragrances that even fragrance snobs can't rag on. No matter who you ask, it's hard to deny that these fragrances bring some serious value to the table when you look at the price and all other things considered. And I do also want to let you know of a few things here at the end of the video. One being that every week, about every 5 to 7 days, I'm gonna be doing regular fragrance bottle giveaways on my YouTube stories. I just did one for Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Together, and now I'm currently in the process of doing one for Perry Ellis Bold Red. So if you want to enter to win here before that goes away, if you're watching this current time, go over to my stories and follow the directions there. All you have to do is get subscribed to the channel and leave a comment on the story saying you want to be entered. If you're not subscribed, you won't win. If you don't comment, you won't win. So you have to make sure to do both of those things. It's the only 2 requirements. After the winner is chosen, I will put it on the community tab and then start another giveaway so you guys can participate. Other thing, I've revamped my channel memberships. Again, I have so many things that just don't make it to the channel because they just don't have the interest. If I could upload a video on something that 10,000 of you are gonna have interest in versus something that only 1,000 of you are gonna have interest in, I'm gonna do the one that has more interest. That just makes sense. So essentially the channel membership is going to be a place where I post bonus content, bonus reviews. I put a review up of Acqua di Gio Profondo Lights. It's only available to members. And I also put up a video on Hermes H24, a full review on that one as well. I'm going to continue to put new videos out. And that Hermes actually has a giveaway tied to it. So if you join and become a member, you can get access to even more giveaways. And you can play in both of them, in the members and on the main channel as well. So you can win a whole bunch of stuff for free. Who doesn't love free? Also with the memberships, I'm gonna do some random top 5s, top 10s. I don't really make it over to the channel. And another cool thing is you'll get early access to these videos. The ones here on the main channel, depending on how quickly I get it done, you can see it as soon as a few days in advance or a few hours in advance. It just depends. But you can be the first person to watch it and comment, that sort of thing, all by joining the memberships. That's pretty much it for the announcements, guys. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for supporting me. I did link all of these fragrances that we talked about in this video down below if you want to pick them up on discounters. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.